Good time for us to bring in our guest for this hour. I'd like to welcome in criminal defense attorney in Denver, Colorado. We have Jeffrey Wolf, a friend of the program. All right, our first time talking about this terrible case there in the state of Florida. What's your overall thoughts right now and where we stand in the state's case in chief?
So the state is doing a good job of laying out the background between this relationship that the defendant has with his mother. This is an incredibly troubled kid, right? He's got a background where he was accused of murdering his father and ended up not being charged because he claimed self-defense, and the Oklahoma Sheriff's Department where that occurred said they couldn't disprove that it was self-defense. Down in Florida, he's doing the same thing. He's been accused of murdering his mother. He's claiming self-defense, but in Florida, they didn't bite and they've charged him with it. And so what the state is doing here is they are laying the foundation of this relationship and these conversations with his mother and the tumultuous nature of their relationship that would give him the motive to actually harm her versus her not having the motive to harm him, which would refute the fact that he was having to defend himself from her, that she didn't have a violent nature towards him and she didn't threaten him, that he was routinely obstinate with her and that he just had ill intent towards her, essentially.
Well, you know, that's the interesting thing that you bring up, right, is motive in all of this, because the defense says that it was self-defense, but the state of Florida they're claiming that he killed his mom to cover up the murder of his dad because she was going to expose him. And that's what this jury is hearing about here when the mom is saying, I'll expose you, show who you really are, your admissions on Ring camera, and then talks about his probation or whatever the situation is there. But can they connect the dots if they can't before the jury say that he killed his father?
Right, because the judge has said that they can say that there was a previous allegation against him that was uncharged, but they can't say it was his dad. And so that makes it really tricky for the state to have to basically tiptoe around what does mom know and how does she know it. And so what they're going to need to do essentially is allude to this amorphous allegation that's out there that mom is aware of without talking about why she would know so much about it, when in reality the reason she knows so much about it is because it's dad, and of course that would be something she would be intimately involved in knowing the details of. And so that is going to be really hard, Matt. That is an extremely good point you bring up, was the judge's ruling, because it's highly prejudicial, right? And that's why it was excluded from the jury, because if he was accused of killing dad and now mom's dead, well, where there's smoke there's fire. That's why it's so prejudicial, and it's uncharged conduct.
Yeah, and you know what? We'll see what happens after this trial if he's charged in that case. It's still open. Jeffrey Wolf, you're going to be sticking with us. Coming up, Detective Danny Peters is on cross-examination in the deadly son murder trial for Colin Griffith. We'll be right back. You're watching Court TV.
Tonight on Closing Arguments, Karen Reed back in court facing a murder charge in the death of Officer John O'Keefe. We're breaking down today's big hearing as her retrial approaches.
Closing Arguments tonight at 8, 7 Central, only on Court TV. Next week,
we're previewing each day's proceedings in the deadly son murder trial. Plus, Friday, a closer look at true crime cases with a voice for victims.
Opening statements with Julie Grant. Mornings at 8, 7 Central on Court TV.
I still love to surf, snowboard, and of course skate. So I take Cunol Magnesium to support my muscle and bone health. Cunol's high-absorption magnesium glycinate helps me get the full benefits of magnesium. Cunol, the brand I trust.
You've got a subscription for streaming movies and music, maybe even one for food. But what about when it's your water line that's streaming? Repairs are expensive. Good contractors, hard to find. The plan from HomeServe is like a subscription for peace of mind. For one small monthly fee, when a covered system breaks, we'll send a qualified contractor and pay for the repair. Why worry? Get HomeServe and chill.
Plans from HomeServe start at just $4.99 a month.
Is your kitchen in need of an upgrade? Miracle Method Surface Refinishing is your solution for damaged countertops, burn marks, exposed seams, or you simply need an update. Call now to schedule your own Miracle Method transformation. And don't forget, Miracle Method has your bathroom covered too.
How prepared is your family if disaster shows up at your doorstep? You can't just turn away a natural disaster. That's why it's important to go to ready.gov/plan before they show up. It has the tools and tips you need to make an emergency plan with your family. So if disaster comes knocking,
let's go.
You'll be ready to help keep your family safe.
It's just a pizza.
Yes!
Make a plan today.
It was the case that started America's true crime obsession.
My office filed murder charges against O.J. Simpson.
A fallen star, a dream team of lawyers, and all the dramatic courtroom moments that have become legendary.
If it doesn't fit, you must acquit.
Relive the trial that had the world watching.
And made court TV a legend.
The trial of O.J. Simpson, weekdays 8 to noon on Court TV Legendary Trials.
How are we doing, guys? We're good? Okay.
You're on very shaky ground. That is unreal.
People wanted answers, and people started locking their doors.
I did not do it to hurt anybody.
You know what it means. You know what you did, right?
Please hear me out. Please.
This was a real-life soap opera.
And I said, OJ, everybody thinks you're guilty.
His identity, a mystery.
Who is he?
His sword, lightning fast.
I challenge you!
His name,
Zorro! Zorro!
Zorro. Tuesdays starting 5/4 Central on Grid Extra.
Give me something new. I want the real you.
That is the best idea I've ever heard.
Yes, of course we can get you more.
Rex, go!
Angus MacGyver.
You know that was fun.
Just give me more.
Jesse Palmer?
So you do remember me, and I know you haven't been watching.
TV's expensive.
Not with Tableau. Pay once and watch happily ever after. You can record too. Learn more at TableauTV.com. It's not fantasy, it's reality.
From day one.
Good morning and welcome to Scripps News coverage of the inauguration of President Donald Trump, bringing you all the action.
Lots of people here, you could tell, from all over the country. We expect him to be signing executive orders throughout the day.
And every day forward.
We're going to be watching that very closely. Our team coverage spans the globe from Washington, D.C. to Ukraine.
For continuing coverage of President Trump's first 100 days in office. Stream Scripps News.
Welcome back to Court TV Live. We are in Florida for day 3 of testimony in the deadly son murder trial, where 17-year-old Colin Griffith is accused of killing his mom during a heated argument last September. But the defense says that Kathy Griffith was erratic and had a history of going into fits and rage. Let's get you back into court now, where the detective who investigated their relationship is on cross.
Detective Peters, I wanted to flesh out some of the things that you mentioned on your direct testimony, and that was included in the ring videos and the text messages.
Okay.
In the ring video from September 8th, where Kathy is talking about, and you know what he's doing at your house? This is with Susan. He's playing video games where he's murdering and torturing people. Do you remember that?
Yes.
And her conversation implied that she sent some screenshots of that video game to Susan to prove her point.
Yes.
Right? And you've looked through the phone downloads?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to approach and show you what's been marked as Defense Exhibit 1 and Defense Exhibit 2 and see if you recognize them.
Yes.
Okay. And do those appear to be the screenshots that accompanied the text regarding the video games that Colin was playing?
Yes.
Okay. Judge, I move into Defense Exhibit 1 and 2.
Any objection despite it's your case right now?
Oh, well.
No, Judge, that's fine.
I should have asked about doing things out of order.
They are received.
So this is Defense Exhibit 1. It'll take a minute. And do you know anything about this video game that's shown in the screenshot?
I do.
It's a Roblox game, correct?
Correct.
Rated for kids, like, as young
All
as
ages,
10,
up to adults play it.
Right. But it's not limited to, say, adults only because of its violent nature or anything?
Correct.
Okay. and I'll show what's been admitted as Defense Exhibit 2. Same video game.
Yes.
So not quite as Kathy described it.
Yes.
Okay. Now I'm going to jump around a little bit. Going back to the house at 77 Hewlett Drive. You said that it did not appear that there had been a long, drawn-out fight throughout the house.
Correct.
But by the same token, if someone is being dragged throughout a house by their hair, wouldn't you expect they would be struggling against that?
Would I expect there to be struggling? Yes.
Unless they were going willingly with the person in
Sure.
throughout the house. Right.
That's the other option, yes.
Right. So if somebody is being dragged unwillingly, and they are struggling, so let's assume that too,
Mhm.
you would expect items in the house to be disturbed.
Possibly.
The blood that was on the backpack that Kathy was seen wearing as she's leaving her house on September 8th. I want to talk a little bit about that. You do know that Colin's phone was found in his car,
Yes.
right? And the 911 call came from Kathy's phone, right?
Yes.
And that means that Colin had to use Kathy's phone to call 911
Yes.
because he was the caller.
Correct.
And it's possible that Kathy's phone was in her backpack, and that Colin had to go into the backpack to find the phone to be able to make the phone call to 911.
It's possible.
The Ring cameras, you said that there were cameras in 5 different, or the 5 different cameras, one an outdoor, one on the doorbell area.
Yes.
Right? Then one in the living room.
Correct.
One in the kitchen.
Correct.
And then one in each of Colin and Kathy's bedrooms.
Yes.
Okay. And the Ring videos we've seen are from the kitchen Ring video.
Yes.
Camera, rather. All right, so before we get to more about those Ring videos, you could hear Kathy tell Colin to get out and not come home, correct, on September 7th?
Yes.
And she told him not to come back even if he was bawling his eyes out, right?
Yes.
And she made him, or told him, to give her his house keys, right?
Give her keys.
Give her the house keys.
Yes.
And leave them there.
Yes.
And then from the living room video camera, you can actually see her locking the door behind Colin after he goes outside, correct?
Yes.
So he would not have been able to get back in that locked door.
Unless there's another key outside that I'm not aware of.
The living room video, the living room camera actually faces towards the kitchen, so it's almost the same view, but from the opposite direction.
Right.
Okay. There was a point where Kathy was waving her hand in front of, it looked like the TV, but it would also have been in front of the Ring camera.
Yes.
Right before she says, and it's all being recorded on my Ring video.
Yes.
Okay. So she clearly knows how to make sure that some things are captured on that Ring camera.
Yes.
Now, the clips that were shown to the jury both yesterday and today, those aren't everything that happened from September 7th and September 8th, are they?
No.
I'll get to those in a minute. I'm sorry I'm not being very organized here, but before I get to those Ring videos, I want to talk a little bit about the text messages. Okay, so this is sort of a different version of the text messages between Kathy and Colin. It's been marked as Defense Exhibit 3. I'm going to approach and see if you recognize it. It's just in a little bit more readable format.
Thank you. Yes, I recognize this.
Yes. And even though it's not my case. I'd like to admit into evidence Defense Exhibit 3.
Any objection?
No objection.
It is received.
All right. I want to talk about some of the things that Kathy told to Colin over text message. Okay, so can you see it on your monitor as well?
I can.
Okay, so
It's easier to read on this one.
on the bottom one from September 7th at 7:01 p.m., she talks about wanting him to return the cell phone and the MacBook that were purchased for his education. Then she said you don't have permission to be at work, which is a probation violation because you refused to do your chores for the day. Are you aware of any probation condition that required him to not be at work?
No.
Okay, so obviously not an accurate statement, right? Then she says you violated your probation by having physical contact with me. It implies that that happened right before he left, but there was no physical contact that you saw in any Ring video that you've reviewed, right?
No.
I'm in fear for my safety and the safety of the vehicle which you took in, which is in my name. I am canceling the car insurance policy until you are 18. You may not drive the Jetta as long as my name is on the title insurance. So right there she's telling him it's illegal for him to drive his car, right?
Right.
But then she turns around and says, drive home right now or you're gonna be in trouble.
Yes.
Do you know if she ever did cancel his insurance?
I do not have proof that she canceled his insurance, no.
Did you know anything about the title to the car, whose name it was in, anything like that?
I believe it was in Mom's name, and I think Colin's name was on it as well.
So both people's?
Yes.
We're going to hit the pause button. We have to take a break. Don't go anywhere. More testimony in the deadly son murder trial playing out there in Florida. Plus, in Massachusetts, Karen Reed back in court today ahead of her retrial scheduled for April as prosecutors try to exclude opinion testimony from one of her key expert witnesses. Court TV Cody Thomas will have more on that story coming up. That's next on Court TV Live.
I still love to surf, snowboard, and of course skate. So I take Cunol Magnesium to support my muscle and bone health. Cunol's high absorption magnesium glycinate helps me get the full benefits of magnesium. Cunol, the brand I trust.
Is your kitchen in need of an upgrade? Miracle Method Surface Refinishing is your solution for damaged countertops, burn marks, exposed seams, or you simply need an update. Call now to schedule your own Miracle Method transformation. And don't forget, Miracle Method has your bathroom covered too.
I wanted to be a reporter since I was 4 years old. I always knew that I wanted to tell stories. I feel really proud that I work at Scripps News. Our reporters get to delve into the topics that we care about and that we want to dig deeper into. There's a real investment in going where the stories are, giving people the full picture, reporting what is happening firsthand. Alex Miller, Scripps News, New York.
For live reports, breaking news, and headlines from across the country, stream Scripps News.
You got us banned from being room parents? I have never been more in love with you.
Who wants to go nuts for donuts?
Show him your folding trick.
I'm not in the mood for your sheet right now. That's gotta hurt, huh?
You keep me coming back for more.
I've worked hard all my life. I learned the secret to success is speaking in your authentic voice. And I bring that lesson to my show every morning.
Opening Statement with Julie Grant. Weekday mornings at 8, 7 Central. Only on Court TV.
I didn't hear anybody knock. Shall we proceed?
My pa's the best shot in the whole world. Isn't it exciting?
They call you the rifleman.
Just make it good.
Bounce elevates and celebrates the achievements of HBCUs all year long.
From the classroom to the field, we are making history.
Bounce HBCU Yearbook.
Join the case that puts you in the middle of the mystery.
The answer's in front of us.
And keeps you guessing till the very end.
It's anyone's guess who's next.
Every twist, every turn.
Everything we need to find this guy is right here.
Eye on Mystery. Join the investigation.
2 hands can move a mountain. 2 more and you can move the earth. I got you now. I'm never gonna let you go.
It's on.
These internships are really important because any story that you produce is going to demonstrate to future employers that you can do the work.
It's a great way to get experience, to improve your own professionalism.
It's opened so many opportunities for me to network with other people.
It was a really influential experience for me because it got me to feel what it would be like in an actual newsroom while I was still in college.
It's really valuable to train up a new field of young people so that we can get the skills that we need to hopefully enter the workforce.
Welcome back to Court TV Live. I'm Matt Johnson. Thanks for being with us. Okay, so before we head back to court there in Florida, let's quickly turn to the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, where Karen Reed, defendant, was back in court today ahead of her retrial in April. Reed is accused of killing her Boston police officer boyfriend, John O'Keefe, back in 2022, claiming that she claims that she's being framed in a massive police cover-up. And today, the Commonwealth argued to exclude one of her defense experts. Joining me in studio live is Court TV reporter Cody Thomas. Cody, you're all over the case. Tell me what stood out from today's hearing.
Well, good afternoon, Matt. Always great to see you. Attorneys for both sides returned to court today for a hearing focused on evidence and an expert hired by Karen Reed's team. The Commonwealth filed a motion to exclude disputed opinions of defense witness Richard Green. New prosecutor Hank Brennan says the motion was filed on 2 circumstances. The first is the claim that witness Jen McCabe's phone made a search to the effect of how long to die in the cold at 2:27 in the morning, which prosecutors believe was done after 6 in the morning. And the second, to exclude Green's opinion that there was some type of intentional deletion of that search.
It is not lost on me. I'm not unmindful of the data on the phone being a search, how long to die in the cold, that occurred after 6 a.m. in that morning coincides with first responders' testimony that the defendant herself was asking these very same questions around that time about Mr. O'Keefe and how long he could survive in the cold. Under the extraordinary broadness of circumstances and the depth of the amount of witnesses and information in this case, it is hard to think that that just happened by happenstance. That there is an inquiry, something forming in the mind of the accused is then shared with the witness, Ms. McCabe. In response, she makes the search, which is entirely supported by all the credible forensic evidence.
Richard Green testified as a cell phone analyst in Reed's first trial. He specifically talked about his analysis of the phones belonging to Reed, O'Keefe, and Jen McCabe. Prosecutors say Green used no methodology in his analysis and wanted to appear as an advocate for the defense. But Reed's defense pushed back, saying the methodology was already agreed upon during the first trial.
It's important to line up the methodology. I just don't understand how it can be stated that there's no methodology stated. Not only does Mr. Green state it, we prove undisputed that everybody agrees this is what the methodology is. And that is what is so flummoxing as to why we're even here, because the methodology is agreed upon. What is disputed, Your Honor, is what are the opinions from when you apply the methodology and you apply these tools. The Commonwealth is ignoring in its 2024 December reports all the other tools. Even though those tools show this timestamp of 2/27/40 still, at that time, they now just ignore it and go to the Celebrite physical analyzer. That it's undisputed that Celebrite went back and changed it in the middle of the first trial with regard to one physical analyzer program. And then after the trial, the other physical analyzer program, they went and changed that and took it off.
And Matt, Judge Beverly Cannoni has taken the motions heard today under advisement and will rule on them at a later date. Karen Reed's second trial is still on track to begin on April 1st.
Yeah, you know, it's no surprise that she didn't make a ruling today. That's kind of on par with all of her decisions in the past. Cody Thomas, thank you so much. We'll check in with you later today. Let's bring in my guest for this hour to discuss, criminal defense attorney Jeffrey Wolf, watching along with you at home. All right, so already out the gate, I think that we're going to get a very different trial here. You know, you have this special prosecutor, Hank Brennan. Defense team has also added to their team. Arguing there for this case was Robert Alessi. But, you know, what makes a defense is the ability to have a battle of the experts, right?
Yeah, absolutely. If the state wants to exclude a defense theory of the case, saying that it just doesn't jive with what their expert says, so it can't be proper science, it's really not an opportunity for Karen Reed to defend herself. Now, if they can bring in a credible prosecution expert pre-trial to say that what the defense is trying to put on is complete junk science that is unsupported by any scientific basis, well, that's a horse of a completely different color. But just putting forth a motion to say that it doesn't make sense and it doesn't fit the facts of the case, that is not a proper way to exclude a defense expert, because you're entitled to your theory of the case and you're entitled to defend yourself. And so what we're always going to see when we do a mistrial and a second trial is that the prosecution and the defense know what's coming, and they're going to do everything they can to combat it. But it shouldn't include just trying to exclude every type of defense that was run in the first trial by the prosecution, or every type of prosecution that was run in the first trial by the defense. You have to just re-strategize. You have to rework things. Bringing in new lawyers is a great idea by both sides, quite frankly, because it has different voices and different ideas coming forward, so that not everybody knows every piece of the playbook that's coming. But to not be able to run your own defense is, I think, fundamentally unfair.
And I wonder if it's so that this new prosecutor can get a Daubert hearing and get him in the hot seat and ask questions ahead of doing it in front of the jury. All right, you're going to stick with us. Coming up, we're going to head back to Florida for more testimony in the deadly son murder trial for Colin Griffith. We'll be right back.
It's a whodunit Hollywood story.
Monica Cementelli is accused of plotting to kill her husband.
Celebrity hairstylist Fabio Cementelli.
The celebrity stylist murder trial. Today, only on Court TV.
Tonight on Closing Arguments, Karen Reed back in court facing a murder charge in the death of Officer John O'Keefe. We're breaking down today's big hearing as her retrial approaches.
Closing Arguments, tonight at 8/7 Central, only on Court TV.
I still love to surf, snowboard, and of course skate. So I take Cunol Magnesium to support my muscle and bone health. Cunol's high absorption magnesium glycinate helps me get the full benefits of magnesium. Cunol, the brand I trust.
Is your kitchen in need of an upgrade? Miracle Method Surface Refinishing is your solution for damaged countertops, burn marks, exposed seams, or you simply need an update. Call now to schedule your own transformation. And don't forget, Miracle Method has your bathroom covered too.
He was an icon.
They are in for the fight of their lives.
It was the case that started America's true crime obsession.
My office filed murder charges against O.J. Simpson.
A fallen star, a dream team of lawyers, and all the dramatic courtroom moments that have become legendary.
If it doesn't fit, you must acquit.
relive the trial that had the world watching.
And made Court TV a legend.
The trial of O.J. Simpson, weekdays 8 to noon on Court TV Legendary Trials.
Watch live TV for free. Meet Tablo. Access over 90 free channels, including popular shows, news, and live sports. Plus, you can record, pause, and replay. Always 0 monthly fees or contracts. Order a Tablo Total System at TabloTV.com or these popular retailers.
I wanted to be a reporter since I was 4 years old. I always knew that I wanted to tell stories. I feel really proud that I work at Scripps News. Our reporters get to delve into the topics that we care about and that we want to dig deeper into. There's a real investment in going where the stories are, giving people the full picture, reporting what is happening firsthand.
Alex Miller, Scripps News, New York.
For live reports, breaking news, and headlines from across the country, stream Scripps News.
These internships are really important because any story that you produce is going to demonstrate to future employers that you can do the work.
It's a great way to get experience, to improve your own professionalism.
It's opened so many opportunities for me to network with other people.
It was a really influential experience for me because it got me to feel what it would be like in an actual newsroom while I was still in college.
It's really valuable to train up a new field of young people so that we can get the skills that we need to hopefully enter the workforce.
I am proud to be able to be on the first ever HBCU gymnastics team. This is how we'll do it! To be able to show off my talents at a HBCU is very honoring.
2 hands can move a mountain. 2 more and you can move the earth. I got you now, I'm never gonna let you go. No, no. I can try a little harder. 'Cause together we're strong enough. Let everybody know that we're never giving up. Oh, try a little harder.
Ion, it's on.
In the great state of California, testimony continues in the trial for A$AP Rocky. The rapper is facing up to 24 years behind bars if convicted of firing a gun at his former friend, Terrell Efron, back in 2021. Efron is back on the stand for a second day of cross-examination and his 4th day of testimony overall. Plus, in the courtroom again today is A$AP Rocky's superstar girlfriend, Rihanna. We'll continue to monitor the case there in California and bring you updates throughout the day on air and online. All right, let's head back to Florida now, where testimony is underway in the trial against Colin Griffith, the 17-year-old being tried as an adult accused of killing his mom just a few months after killing his dad. Griffith says both times were self-defense. On the stand right now is Detective Danny Peters. He's on cross.
And show you what's been marked as defense exhibits 4 and 5.
Yes, I'm aware of that. Yes. Yes.
And they appear to be the text from Kathy to Colin.
Yes, it does.
Like to admit to evidence defense exhibit 4 and 5.
Any objection? No, Your Honor. They are received.
Okay, I'll publish them real quickly. So down here on 724, no, that's not the one. Oh, that was the one. So it wasn't a week or so before. It was over a month before, but she's telling her son, just so you know, I'm not doing so good. I just had a long conversation with my mom, and she was basically my mom. She told me that she has stage 2 cancer. She's in Georgia, and she's not going to help me with DVC. Do you know what DVC is? It's a Disney Vacation Club.
Oh, I know what that is, but I didn't know the abbreviation for it.
And that she could care less, and so in response, I got really upset and quit my job. And sorry, so this was not related to her mental health. It was about her quitting her job. Are you aware that she actually quit her job or did not quit her job?
I'm not aware. I don't have proof she quit her job.
And then also on July 24th, Kathy talks about how she sold the house and that this story about how somebody's assumed the mortgage and she was going to move out. Any proof that any of that was true?
No, ma'am.
And on Defense Exhibit 5, she says that she spoke with Dr. Goldstein today, and Dr. Goldstein wanted Kathy to go to an inpatient facility for some time, and that she was thinking about doing that. So that's what we were talking about Kathy communicating her mental health issues with her son.
Intensive therapy, it says, yes.
But inpatient for 72 hours or so.
Yes.
The Ring videos that were played, you already said they didn't include everything that happened that day. There are actually some parts that I wanted to see if you remember seeing. One is from September 7th, where Kathy is trying to get a lid off a cup. Do you remember that part?
Vaguely.
And she then starts yelling at Colin and blaming him for cutting her hand.
Vaguely.
Okay.
I'd have to see it again.
Okay, well, that's what I'm hoping to do. This is Defense Exhibit 10. Do you have any objection to it?
No, it's not.
Judge, I'm going to publish just, yes, I'm offering it into evidence. Defense Exhibit 10. It's a portion of the Ring video from September 7th, 2024.
You have no objection? I don't object. It is received.
And I'm only going to play a portion of it because a lot of it duplicates what has already been shown.
Okay, definitely not Colander. Wow, I can't even open it.
In that clip, does it appear that Kathy actually cut her hand?
Doesn't appear so.
And then finally on September 8th, we saw a lot of clips of Kathy on the phone with a variety of people, right?
Yes.
Do you remember a portion that was left out of the exhibit that was already entered into evidence where Kathy says it's not about to be a threat, it's about to be real shortly before she leaves the house?
I think that was played. I think that was played from the kitchen. There's two areas that you can get that same audio from, the living room and the kitchen. I think that was played.
Okay. Well, I'm going to play it again just in case.
Yes, ma'am.
But this is Defense Exhibit 11 from September 8th. I would like to offer it into evidence and just play a portion of it.
Any objection?
No, that's fine.
It is received. Excuse me.
Thank you. 2130.
How he's better off at your house, where he's killing people, pretend, and making fun of it, and kidnapping them, and having them tied to little chairs while he tortures them and kills them with other people in this game story that he has. I sent you pictures.
It's 21:30. That's okay. That's good.
It's not about to be a threat, it's about to be real.
And I apologize if that had already been played.
Yeah, it was played on the other one.
Detective Peters, when you were shown pictures of Kathy and Colin on various trips, you said that they appeared happy. In some of these clips and in some of the text messages that the jury's seen today, Kathy appears quite angry, correct?
Yeah, she appears frustrated. Yeah, angry.
Angry? And it was in that state that she left her house and went to Auburndale against advice from several people, right?
I don't know who the several people are, but she did leave at that time to go to Auburndale, yes.
And she was yelling on her way out the door.
Yes.
But you're aware that several people told her not to go to Susan's house and to let Colin stay there.
Detective Lacey, yes.
And Susan.
And Susan,
Yeah. So at least two people.
yes.
But she ignored them.
Yes.
I don't have any other questions, I don't think. I could have one.
And with that, that witness will be done with testimony, and they're going to be done for the day. But let's bring in our guest to discuss this as we approach the top of the hour. Jeffrey Wolf, nice to see you again. So really what we have with this witness is the theme of motive for the state, right? Like he's going to be exposed, supposedly, and then also the desensitization, if I can say it, with violent video games. But then you have mindset with the defense is trying to prove that he was in fear of his life and his mom was acting in a certain kind of way.
Yeah, absolutely. The defense did a really good job of basically telling the jury, you're going to have to decide who was the real threat here and who was the one that was really acting irrationally. Because what they start to bring out and what they do is they basically use the prosecution's case in chief to start admitting exhibits, right? And they even point out to the jury that it's unusual for the defense to do this because the judge says, you're going to admit exhibits in their case? And they say, yeah, that's what we're going to do. And they start admitting exhibits through a prosecution witness and say, here's the stuff that your investigation showed you that the prosecution didn't bring in and didn't show to this jury. Let's look at the text messages the mom was sending. Let's look at the video that we have of the way she was acting and the way she was out of control and the way she was ramping up leading up to the day when her son had to defend himself against her. And it was great defense work and using the state's own witness and own evidence against them with their witness. It was masterful.
So do you think that he's going to have to testify? It's in the state of Florida. He's claiming self-defense.
You never have to testify. Never. You're never required to testify in your own defense. But sometimes it is a good strategy if you're really going to get your story out there. But the defense is doing a really good job of painting the picture without him needing to.
Yeah, well, we know that. You know, the defense never has the obligation to put on a case, but you always wonder with self-defense. All right, thank you so much. We're coming back to more cases here at Court TV that we're following when we return.